I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, June the 17th, brought to you in part by Macrocin by Bimeda. Macrocin was granted the same label claims as Draxxin by the FDA with identical comparisons, except Macrocin is more affordable and it's made in North America. For more information, go to macrocin.com. Also by Joplin Regional Stockyards. Two big feeder cattle auctions this week. The regular Monday feeder cattle sale here today on Monday, expecting around 6,000 head with at least 50 load lots of yearlings in the mix. That'll be here today on Monday. Wednesday they'll have their regular weigh up cow and bull sale, and then on Thursday, this Thursday, June the 20th, having a special value added preconditioned sale. They're expecting about 5,000 head of preconditioned calves. They'll all be long time weaned, worked, had all their shots, everything, and the quality will be a touch better than the regular sales because they get the larger consigners, and they'll just have a little bit better runs of calves. There'll be a higher percentage black and the kind you're looking for. You can view and bid both those sales at DVAuction.com. Get on there and check them out. Oklahoma National Stockyards impresses. Oklahoma City was the host of the LMA convention, and then Oklahoma National Stockyards the host for the 60th annual World Livestock Auctioneer Championship. And like I said, it was very impressive. The whole convention was very impressive. It was the most well-attended convention that they've ever had. I assume mostly due to where it was located there. A lot of people could drive to Oklahoma City, centrally located. But the Omni Hotel there in downtown Oklahoma City was a nice place to have that. And of course, the old historic Oklahoma National Stockyards. And I tell you what, it was really fun to be there. It was fun to see people and contestants and family from parts of the country where they don't sell the large strings of cattle, that aren't familiar with Oklahoma National Stockyards and the way they do things here in the central part of the country, and just watching them appreciate the history of the Oklahoma National Stockyards was a lot of fun to watch. Both Friday night at the barbecue that they hosted there, and had it in the old hog barns. They were unloading cattle just one alley over from us, and we were sitting there enjoying the barbecue and music, and it was a lot of fun for that. And then of course the contest, they had 10,500 head of cattle. They ran those through there in a real timely manner. A lot of them were in half loads, but the cattle streamed right through there. I mean, it was hotter than hell that day. But the cattle didn't look too stressed. They might have been a little bit full early, and they might have been a little gant late, but it looked to me like everybody got a fair shot, being able to sell some good cattle, some good sized bunches of cattle. There were a lot of buyers on the seats, and of course as soon as they cracked those cattle, for each draft to sell, hands went in the air. It was a fast-paced sale, very competitive. I would hate to have been a judge there. It was very, very competitive, especially the final round of 10 there. It was something else. Of course, they had earlier they had the interview session, and that probably is tougher on a lot of the auctioneers than the selling part. But that final round of 10 there in the afternoon on Saturday, it was terribly competitive. It would have been hard to pick one, but I was pleased with the way that the judging come out. All three of my top 3 picks that I gave you on the last feeder flash made the final 10, and so I was happy with that. And if you made the final 10, I tell you what, you were just as good as the winner. But this time the winner come out to be my good friend from Michigan, Wade Lice. And he's a good guy, an excellent auctioneer. I've worked with him before. He is a really, really top world-class auctioneer. Well, he's a world champion now, but he's one of the best auctioneers that I've ever been able to work with and to listen to and be around. And he's a world-class guy too, and got a really good personality. And I think any of you guys that have him come sell at your sale this year during his reign will be pleased with him, and you have a lot of fun with him because he's a great guy. The reserve champion was Dakota Davis. Another friend of mine runs the Enid livestock market there just up the road in Enid, Oklahoma. And that might have bristled him up a little bit at the Oklahoma National Stockyards because they are competitors there. But Dakota is a really good guy, and he does a great job. And congratulations to him for getting reserve champion. The runner-up was another friend of mine from north of the border up in Canada, Dean Edge. And he's a great guy too. And he's right up in there. You know, it seems like every time he gets in the contest, and he's going to win it one of these years, and surely capable. I was tickled to see the Rookie of the Year champion go to Jace Thompson. And man, was he blessed with a voice that just kills. And I tell you what, he is such a good auctioneer, well beyond his years. And of course, he comes from Ty Thompson, his dad, and then Warren. I noticed that they were sitting next to each other as Jace was selling in the championship round, and they could not have been more proud. Just watching those two men admire Jace sell that sale, and just probably thinking about how far he's come and how good he is, and that his horizon is a long ways out there, and ain't no telling how far and high he can get. But he's a good kid, and I like him. But it was just a really good convention. It's probably my favorite thing to go to the whole year, because I know so many people in the sale barn business and the auction business and order buying cattle business and all that kind of thing. And I get to see a lot of people that I don't see on a regular basis. So it was a good time to be had in Oklahoma City. Look forward to the Shabans hosting it in Dunlap, Iowa next year, and you guys want to put that on your calendar, because that's going to be a good time there. I've went to it several years ago when they hosted it, and it was a good one there. And it'll be kind of based in Omaha, and then they'll go out to Dunlap for the auction on Saturday. But you guys plan on doing that. Now, we talked about the fat cattle market last week, reached all new record highs again, and solely because of the Northern Plains. They're now trading at least a $10 premium to the Southern Plains. I know that's hard to believe, but on Friday, of course, we saw a lot of cattle last Thursday and Friday selling at $195 in the north. They got as high as $196, $197, and even $198 to regionals on Friday. And meanwhile, the Southern Plains is sitting down there at $186. Now, is freight that expensive? No. Are they really selling very many cattle at $186? They're selling just enough to get them reported, guys. I would be very surprised if there's not some under the table payoff being done there. But your packers, your big four packers in the Southern Plains, they want to keep that price as low as they can to keep that weighted average under wraps there. But it's getting to be too big a deal on whether the cattle are reported or not. And so many of them aren't really sold on a formula. They're just sold $2, $3, and $4 over the market. That's where the bulk of the cattle are sold in the Texas Panhandle and Southwest Kansas, is $2, $3, and $4 over the market. So if the market's $186, you know, they're getting several dollars better than that. But that's not really fair that that's not getting reported. And then for those people that do sell on the formula, that they're having to get a starting place that's under what it ought to be. And I don't know how you fix it. You know, I think the Magoo administration said they want to get to the bottom of this unfair trade practices and things like that. You know, go to work on it. It's not too hard to see. It's right in front of your face there, guys. But you know, why would any sensible person sell fat cattle? Like I said, with camera grading, they all grade choice and prime. Why would they sell them for 186 when just up the road they're selling them 10 bucks higher? But we'll see how that works out. I think that's going to shake out here before long. Texas is probably going to get to where they don't sell any cattle at all on a negotiated cash basis. And Kansas is every week starting to sell a few more along with the northern plains. But I'm sure the packers will put a stop to that, because if that continues to happen, the 5 area weighted average will be dollars higher than what it's been here, the way things have been going. But let's talk about your board for last week. June live cattle futures, Monday was up 175, Tuesday down 17, which was nothing, Wednesday down a dime, which was nothing, Thursday up 117, and then Friday, June live cattle was up $2 smooth at 186.82. August closed the week at 183.17. Your feeder cattle for August, Monday was up 3.72, Tuesday was down $1, Wednesday down 7 cents, Thursday down a dime, and then Friday up $4.50. So big gains on Friday. That's one thing that made the sale so good there at Oklahoma City for the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship, and everybody had smiles on their face with the fat cattle market and the feeder cattle market, and the board on Friday was just gangbusters, and everybody seemed to be in a good mood. August feeder cattle ended the week at 261.97. September ended at 262.70. Your grains, July corn ended the week at $4.50 even per bushel. Beans, 11.79 3/4 at the end of the week. Kansas City hard red winter wheat closed the week at 627.5. Your fat cattle market, through Thursday of last week, they had sold 68,000 in a negotiated trade in the 5 area feeding region, and then some more trade on Friday, so it's going to get a little bit better than that. We'll see. It'll be way deep in the $70,000 or 70,000 head range there. But live sales in your 5 area feeding region, fat steers and heifers sold from 184 up to 197 up through Thursday. That was $1 to $4 higher. Weighted average through Thursday of last week was 190, 165. That's going to be a new record, and it's going to be higher than that because we had more trade on Friday in the northern plains than we did in the southern plains, which the southern plains don't trade hardly any anyway. But that weighted average was roughly $3 higher than the previous week. Your dress sales, 301 to 308, $4 higher. Your weighted average was a little more than that higher, about $4.50 higher at 305.40 up through Thursday. As a whole, your northern plains sold last week from 193 to 195 for the most part. Now it's $2 to $5 higher. Your dress sales were 304 to 308, $3 to $7 higher, mostly $4 higher. Southern plains buck higher at 186. On Friday we had some more trade. Iowa sold 4,300 head, just shy of 30,000 for the week. Live sales on Friday in Iowa, 190 to 197. Dress sales at 303. Nebraska sold 1,800 on Friday, 26,400 for the week. Live sales in Nebraska, 196 to 198. And dress sales on Friday at 306. We did see some 310 on Friday that I didn't see reported, but got reported to me privately from a very dependable source. So that we had some 198 and we had some 310. Kansas, 1,200 head, 13,700 for the week. Didn't have any live sales on Friday, only 302 dressed. Northern Kansas. Texas didn't have any sales on Friday, 5,700 for the week, mostly all at 186. Box beef cutout values were mixed, and that choice select spread is getting wider, just like you would expect it to right here in the middle of grilling demand. But your weighted average on all of last week's choice cut sales, $318.29. That was $2.24 higher than the previous week's weighted average. And your late Friday choice cut sales were about $1.60 higher than that at almost $3.20. So it's getting up there, guys. Markets were really active on Friday. Select weighted average on all of last week's sales, $300.73. That was $1.48 lower than the previous week's weighted average, but we had a late week rally on the Select too, and the late Friday sales were about $3 higher than that weighted average at $303.81. Like I said, growing choice Select spread, $17.56 on your weighted average. All that based on 607 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your slaughter, 615,000 last week. That was 1,000 more than the previous week, 21,000 less than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. This Tuesday, we're going to have the Feeder Flash Beaver Clash Feeder Cattle Auction Special at Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. I'm going to be up there. Look forward to seeing some of you. I see some of the buyers on Saturday. They were in Oklahoma City that are going to be over there. They'll have a good run of feeder cattle. We'll give you a complete rundown on the next Feeder Flash. But check out Beaver County Stockyards, and they are on DVAuction.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DVAuction, based on an 800-pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, ended the week at 254.37. That was $3.20 higher than the end of the previous week. Of course, your biggest sale to talk about was the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship sale in Oklahoma City. 10,500 head. It was your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day. Couldn't really call a trend. That wouldn't have been fair. But, you know, the prices sure look $5 to $10 higher than the previous Monday. They are going to have a sale this Monday, just expecting lighter receipts, of course, after having the big sale on Saturday. But your weighted average on your top quality steers in Oklahoma City on Saturday, there was 853 head of 6-weight steers. They averaged 642 with a weighted average price of $297.20. 871 head of 7-weight steers in Oklahoma had a weighted average price of $751 at $270.61. There was almost 1,300 head, 1,297 head of 8-weight steers in Oklahoma City on Saturday. They averaged $847, the weighted average price of $250.210, and 404 head of 9-weight steers averaged $933 at $241.66. Look at some of the heifers, the best tested weights of top quality heifers. 488 head of the 6-weight heifers averaged $642 at $270.07. That was 821 head of 7-weight steers averaged $748 at $247.56. And 118 head of 8-weight heifers averaged $827 at $234.43. Some impressive quotes from the World Championship sale there in Oklahoma City at the stockyards, and these were in half loads. They didn't sell any square loads because of the contest. They wanted to give all the contestants half loads to sell if they could. They had a half load of 605-pound steers bring $319. Half load weighed 670 at $314. Half load weighed 758 at $280, and half load of steers in Oklahoma City on Saturday weighed 869 at $257.50. Pretty impressive sale, guys, there. And there was a who's who that was in the crowd sitting there watching and bidding the contest. Give you some other individual quotes from over the weekend and late last week. How about Lanesboro Sales Commission? Lanesboro, Minnesota there. They had some Holstein steers that sold on Friday. 50 head of them weighed 679 and bring 243. Whoa. How about Santa Teresa Livestock Auction? Tato Medina Wallace, my good buddy that runs that sale down there at Santa Teresa, he was in Oklahoma City. We had a good time visiting and seeing each other again. He had his little 3-year-old boy, and he had his wife with him, and that little boy is a spitting image of Tato. He's got him dressed up in those fancy shirts, sale barn shirts that he wears all the time, and just it's really a good time to get to see people like that I'm close friends with, but I don't get to visit with in person as much as I would like to. But they had a sale without Tato, I think for the first time since he took over there, but they got along really well, including 109 steers. Mexican steers weighed 479 and bring 317.50. How about the most impressive quote that I saw late last week or over the weekend? Your Mackerson No BS top quote for the day come out of Bluegrass Stockyards in Richmond, Kentucky. That's the Jim Doss location there, and Jim does a great job with that sale. He sold 57 steers. They weighed 855 pounds and bring 252.95. That's your feeder flash for Monday.